Senator, where do you stand on gay sex? Usually in the men's room, the last stall.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel for all of our Patreon supporters on the night of our recording, live and in color. My name is Tom. I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, a.k.a. your boyfriend's boyfriend.
And welcome you back to a uniquely recorded episode. We're recording on Monday as opposed to Wednesday because, of course, Nick has an amazing adventure in New York City coming up on Wednesday. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then I just wanted to address the opener. I love the opener, right? Third stall, the whole 9 yards, but I think it would have landed better if you asked the question and she answered it.
Yeah, but she wasn't ready.
Yeah, but it's
I was
done.
totally ready.
Yeah,
I'm
you
always
were.
ready. Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah. You know.
Oh, that's how we are.
Yep.
So,
She was busy on Sniffies or Grinder or something.
No, I was busy texting my coworker.
See?
yeah, it always works.
Yep.
So, as we normally do, we'll jump into a quick roundtable for all of us here on the show. I'll start. How's everybody's allergies?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's like the worms.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to jinx it.
Let me tell you, I had to go and grab on Friday. I literally I text my boss and I said, listen, I'm punching out for lunch and I'm gonna go drive to the pharmacy and go get me some Zyrtec. And so I don't know, if you take allergy medication.
Yeah, I'm a walking allergy.
Yes.
Right, pretty much, yes. Thanks for acknowledging that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to validate that.
We're gonna validate.
We're totally going to
I
validate
appreciate that.
that. So, it says on the bottle you should only take one every 24 hours. I took two of those motherfuckers. That's how fucking nuts it is because spring is here. Spring has sprung. We've talked about this in the past couple of weeks. But for whatever reason, Mother Nature decided to just come all over everything.
So I think what is happening, what happened was, because it was so cold for so long and it didn't warm up normally the way it normally does,
Right.
everything started popping all at once.
Oh my God.
And so like normally you have like phases of things coming back because it's been so crappy out.
Yeah, I just feel like, how there's always the one sperm that wins? All of them won. All at once. It was just
Well, in this neighborhood, not surprised.
You know what?
Wisteria Lane.
I've thought about planting some wisteria in the back of the property somewhere.
Honey, you don't have to.
It's that or dead bodies. No, but overall, it's just been insane. It's way too much. I go outside and I run my finger on something and it's green. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I almost took my car through the car wash before coming here today, but I did not have time.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's going to be another beautiful day.
I've got a crazy week.
Yeah, I'm anxious to get outside and start digging and doing things in the garden beds and things like that. And it's just, but it's still so like, ugh.
It's touch and go.
So I have been sneezing, runny nose, runny eyes.
Itching.
Thankfully, not a runny butthole, but definitely runny itchy eyes. That's a thing.
Oh no.
What is wrong with you two today?
She said,
I'm just trying to think of how I can come at you a little bit.
Well,
he's had plenty of those already.
But overall, it's just been nuts. Allergies.
Runny eyes.
Yeah.
Runny nose.
Luckily, not a running butthole. That's bullshit.
Yeah, no. And I've had a guest in house for the past 5 days.
So she has been behaving.
Of course, I've been a good boy. I did have some fun over the weekend. I met up with a friend of mine who I absolutely like.
Wow.
It's good.
Wait.
No, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Wow.
Nice.
That is
You
all.
like?
Yeah. I mean,
like you would date him?
If the circumstances were right, yes, I would.
That is a big thing.
I would.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's just, let's just say two adults, two consenting adults enjoying each other's company and enjoying each other and having fun. And
Tommy,
yeah.
wow.
And I was
Tommy, wow. You're a big girl now.
I fucking hate him. No, and the good thing was, it's like, normally I would go visit and then I would have to come immediately back after a couple of hours because I have my dogs. But, my guest has been here all week. So he was like, stay as long as you want. I'll take care of the babies. So I got to sort of kind of like pass out for a couple of hours and it was nice.
You do seem relaxed.
Yeah, I'm very.
Hmm.
All is well in the land of Oz. That's what I like to say.
That's what
why
you wanna
can't
call
hear
it.
her fart.
What?
I don't understand that
She's
either.
loose.
Yeah. So
Usually you hear ducks around the house.
I can't.
Don't make fun of my chickens.
Trish, how are you? They're quails, by the way.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're
She's
quails
she
and
doesn't-
chickens.
she doesn't
He just
give a
got
shit.
emus, okay?
Stop it.
He got the big ass emus.
Are you that obsessed? Like now
Apparently.
he's got emus.
I follow him.
You know what? You know what's shocking out of all of this, right? Is that
How long have you been following, actually?
Oh, I've been following him for a couple years, but then
he
it
never
wasn't
ever,
until
Wow.
you
it
didn't
wasn't
realize.
Until
that
we
he was a
mentioned
thirst
it?
trap. No,
Yeah,
never realized it.
yeah.
Dude, that shit it's like obvious. It's like the videos I sent you, the guys exercising and their shit flops down in their pants.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know how or why. I can't explain it.
And now you can't unsee it.
no, and he just
Yeah.
posted a new video,
Oh.
Yeah, huh?
and I was like, oh,
Did you join his OnlyFans?
that
Absolutely.
is not for me to share.
It's a gay talk show. What are you
Yeah,
talking
of
about?
course I did.
Okay, fabulous. So how are you, Trish?
I'm good. I'm good.
All is well.
Really busy.
You've had a lot of activity this past since last Wednesday when we recorded.
Yeah.
You've had quite an interesting weekend.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
every weekend for the past 4 weeks, I've been with my brother and my sister-in-law and the twins because they need a lot of help.
Okay.
And
So, but you guys did something really nice.
yeah, so this Saturday, my sister-in-law hasn't had a full night's sleep, nor has my brother since the babies were born. So I offered to do an overnight with my sister, and so we went up and we went up around dinner time. We brought dinner, and then I made stuff for breakfast, so they didn't have to worry about it. And then we literally just stayed up all night long. We played Monopoly, me and my sister, and watched a couple TV shows and then a movie. But we stayed up all night taking care of the twins, which actually was really, really nice. Honestly, like I was exhausted on Sunday and I'm still sort of recovering today because I have not stayed up for that long in a really long time.
Was it like a whole like marathon of like up from 8 to like 7 in the morning type of thing?
I got up around 10 on Saturday. I was going to take a nap, but then I just started doing things around my house because I knew I was going to be useless on Sunday.
Right.
So like laundry and stuff. And I had to finish a grant that was due. So I did all that. And then I cooked the quiche that was for the breakfast. What are you looking at?
I'm just watching our mystery guest in the background.
Oh.
If you're watching the live stream on YouTube, you probably realize there's someone behind Jay, and
I have fans.
yeah, they're oh.
The best looking one in the room.
The fan who's sitting on the casting couch.
Yeah. Hey.
But
We'll
yeah,
make sure they get their PT in.
Right, that's right. Anyway, you were saying.
yeah. So
Sorry.
I made the breakfast, and then we went up for dinner, and then I got back home around 11 o'clock
On Sunday.
a.m. And I did not sleep at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were probably dead.
Yeah, because at some point I had stayed up, and at one point I knew if I closed my eyes for a little bit, I would not be able to wake up, and so I just had an energy drink and stayed up with the babies, but they were so good. And we only had like 2 feedings throughout the night, and thankfully no blowouts, just a little bit of pee-pee diapers. But it was actually really nice to just like spend time without my brother and sister-in-law around with the babies.
With the kids.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's also very nice of you, to offer, because, a lot of people don't realize, parents, especially when you have multiple children simultaneously, that it's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, me and my sister, the morning the sun was coming up, and it was like, I don't know, like 6:30, and we were like, okay, they usually get up around 7, and we're just like counting down the minutes, and then finally we hear like some footsteps upstairs, and we hear Demi wake up, and we're like, yes, it's happening.
Reprieve.
And then finally, my sister-in-law comes down, and she looks at me, she's like, I haven't had a full night's sleep in 4 weeks. Thank you. How'd it go?
It went fine. It went fine. Little Benadryl, nothing little Benadryl can't handle.
Yeah, no, I didn't rum. We had it. It was fine.
That's how it usually goes for me anyway.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations again on being an uncle. Again, you're about to be an uncle soon enough. Again. So congrats.
Thank you.
And that was very nice of you.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll appreciate it.
They're so cute, the babies. Just
I
like,
know.
I'll bite their face.
Until they grow
I
up.
almost ate Sadie.
Oh.
I'll bite her face.
Arr. Jay Bird,
That's cute. Hey,
how are you, darling?
good.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
The B isn't silent, bro.
B isn't silent, bro. No.
How are you, bro?
Good. It was a decent weekend. We didn't do much. It rains. My only free day, it rained. So,
Oh, God, it rained really hard.
Yeah.
Did you hear those storms that came through?
Yeah, the thunder and lightning and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it was intense.
I just binge watched shit. And by the way, fucking The Last of Us.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Fucking
I haven't
fuck.
seen episode 2.
I haven't
Oh,
seen the
don't-
most recent.
Just don't fucking watch it.
Yeah. Well, I know what happens.
Just don't. It was disappointing. I was upset.
You were not the only one. I was like,
yeah,
this
what
isn't
the
real.
fu-
This
yeah,
can't be
yeah.
real.
Why?
And then the missus was like, "How are they gonna continue like that? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't." And I was like, "Oh,
Well,
but yeah,
the same thing happens in the video
yeah,
game.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
for those who don't know, The Last
Don't
of Us
know
is
the-
based on a video
We
game.
know.
And it's been very scandalous, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Bella Ramsey and her character and how annoying she has become lately, like in season 2, or even like in the end of season 1. And I'm like, people, she's acting, and if she's annoying you as an actress, she's doing something right.
She's doing a good job. Yeah,
She's doing something right, because she's clearly doing exactly what the director or someone is telling her to do.
Yeah, no, the acting,
Yeah, no.
good show. It's just you know the twists and turns,
Right.
and sometimes you get it. It's like everything else. You get involved in characters, and
Right.
then shit happens, and you're like, no. Or, remember, fucking what was it?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, and
Every fucking 5 minutes, someone
Yeah.
you loved just whoosh, dies.
Dies.
and what is it? Living Dead or whatever the fuck was it?
Oh, The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. I think
Every
the only
time somebody
character,
new died, there was an uproar on the internet.
yeah,
so.
the only character I think that will never die, actually 2 of them on The Walking Dead, is the lady Carol.
Yeah.
Is it with the short hair? And what's the guy with the motorcycle?
You're talking about
I think his real name is like Rufus or something like that.
Yeah.
He's got like the shaggy hair.
With the crossbow.
Yes.
Yeah, Darren.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
Darren, I think it
yeah.
is. Yeah, I think those are the only 2 characters that are going to survive the apocalypse.
I mean you get it, but
Yeah.
it's still you don't presume it's gonna happen so quick.
Yeah.
with certain characters. So
Right. And you
it
would
throws
think.
your whole presumption of what's gonna happen next way off.
It's kind of like when Dumbledore dies. You
Yeah.
know?
Right. But, and we have to talk about Harry Potter and
Yeah, I know. We'll get there.
eventually. But, yeah, you're right. Like one of those main characters goes. But I think that we don't know what The Last of Us is going to do, right? With whatever's left of this season and how they're going to, maneuver and shift and sort of kind of keep the viewership intact.
Yeah.
But I will say that, in the Harry Potter movies, they were able to, kill off Dumbledore, but still navigate and shift the storylines in a way that was still engaging and wanting people to actually go back and see the rest of the films. You know, you had the ability. Yes, Mom, stop.
Jesus.
She's so extra. You had the ability to actually read the books, right? Because you're a reader. I can't.
Oh yeah, I read all of them.
And also seeing the movies. You know, was there? So you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that they did a good job in portraying that depiction in the books that they did in the movies?
Yeah.
Because I think he died.
I think they did a really good job with the movies. There was a lot that wasn't as descriptive.
Right.
But I think they did a very good job with the movies.
Cool. And all I can say is I have to be mentally prepared to go through what I know is going to happen on The Last of Us. And being that I've had a guest here, you know, sort of kind of, hey, let's go do dinner. Let's go do breakfast and this and that. And it's like, I really haven't had a chance to sort of kind of just nestle myself in the couch and put my protective blanket on.
Speaking of which, you having a guest here who I didn't think was going to be here today, plus us having a guest in studio, which I did not know about, I would have put on my full face. This is only a half face today.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You look fabulous.
It's a half face.
You're right. It's a half face. You've lost so much weight and look fabulous. It's a half face.
Thank you.
That bitch.
Thank you.
She was looking for validation. That's
Yeah,
why.
and I'm gonna confirm the validation. What's the one thing she didn't ask for today before we started?
Lights. Oh, burn.
I thought about it,
Oh.
and then I forgot about it.
See, she's looking fabulous.
Yeah,
I
she
can
knows it.
let me
She's like,
see.
let him see me.
Yeah, let him see. I cannot.
I don't need to
cannot.
hide.
So, well, here.
She doesn't need that shit.
I will give you some
give
lights.
some
There you
lighting?
go. You're happy now?
It just feels
You feel better?
It
Now you
just
look like a
feels better.
Smurf.
Like a
Because it's blue.
I'm gay Smurf.
gay Smurf.
Gay Smurf.
I need a haircut. So I have Thursday. I'm getting my haircut finally by the one and only Paul, because everybody's been fucking up my hair, and I've been like literally I just can't go anywhere. I was like, I can't. We need to find a day that you can cut my hair. So I'm getting my haircut. I'm taking a half day. We're going to get our face done and go to dinner. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Nice.
A night out with the girls.
Yeah, got to get that
A
Botox.
day with the girls.
Sweet.
Do you know that reference?
Someone.
A day with the girls. Tu Wong Fu.
Is that when they're
When they're like
hanging out at the front porch
at the boutique,
with,
like,
yeah.
why don't we have a day with the girls? And he's like, what's a day with the girls? You know, you go out to lunch, you have brunch, you get your hair done, you
Yeah,
get your nails done.
When I find my rich man, that'll be
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah, a day with the girls.
Yeah, no.
Well, you're good at finding rich men, just
I
not
know.
for you.
I know.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I got to work on it.
Yeah,
That's
got a lot of work.
Well, I've made a concerted decision
Okay.
that I will have a
Sugar daddy?
boyfriend or partner of some kind before my brother's 40th, which gives me 1 year. Year and a half.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. I scare everyone off. I
Good
think
luck.
it's going well, and they disappear. I don't know.
Yeah, I
what's going
know.
on.
It's a weird. You know what it is? People got. Here's my opinion. This is what I think. I think you're an amazing person. I think that you would be a catch for someone, but in this lifestyle, you know, unfortunately, people are just so shallow and so short-sighted that all they want is a quick romp in the bed and off you go, and
But I'm old.
on to the next, and to the
Yeah.
next, and to the next.
They want to try the goods.
You're not old. You're someone who's still in your prime. You're focused. You're ambitious. You're very
if
dedicated
you're old,
to your work,
you bitch. What am I?
and you're responsible.
Married.
Married? Prehistoric?
Yeah, carbon.
like-
you're like borderline carbon dating.
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, but you're ambitious. You're focused. You are responsible. You live on your own. You pay your bills. You manage. You know your finances.
I don't want to.
Nobody ever does, but you do. And these queens out here, you know, they're not trying to do all of that, and
They're trying
they're
to
not
find
trying
somebody
to,
like you to keep them feeling nice
yeah,
and pay their bills
it's like- and that's not
and
what
give them
exactly.
free room and board.
Maybe I'll ask the guy in studio if he's interested. You know, just a mutual relationship
Yeah.
where I can use his hot tub.
He does have a hot tub.
Oh,
Yeah, that he does.
yeah. The tub,
Right?
the
Mr.
hot
Guy
tub
over
Tommy
there.
refuses to buy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have the property. You want a hot tub? Put it in.
Put it in.
You know, I would
Put
have.
it. We have an electrician in house that can actually make the connections.
I would have done it with my tax return, but my freaking washer died. So
Yeah, I know. I know.
it's like the government gives you back money, and then you actually have to spend it on something because something
Breaks.
always breaks
Yeah.
right around tax season.
Hey, I just got my truck back, so
Yeah, we remember
Exactly.
that. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck puts diesel,
diesel. Hey,
in an
you know,
unleaded?
ask your
gas
teenagers to
only?
do it while they're distracted.
Wait, what happened?
My granddaughter filled my pickup truck with diesel fuel.
An unleaded only vehicle. She put diesel in it. He had to go send it into a shop to have it go like washed out. And
Yeah,
how much did it cost you?
close to 800.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's insane.
So I was like, "Happy birthday!"
You know, these kids and their life skills these days.
Yeah.
I don't. I can't.
See, this
Yeah.
is
They
why
can't
New
even
Jersey.
talk on the fucking phone.
This is why. This is why New Jersey is the way it is. This is why you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
yeah.
It's illegal for you to do that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I pulled off.
need
I
to
don't
shut
mind
out
it though.
here.
I actually really enjoy it.
I was
Yeah.
getting out of the car and ready to grab. I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
bitch! I pump my own gas everywhere else.
You know,
I've-
you're supposed to tip them though, right?
fuck that shit."
It's included in the price.
If
No.
New clearly, if New Jersey's gonna sit here and mandate somebody pump my gas, then you better pay them well.
Yeah.
That's I don't consider that to be like what do you call that? That service industry. You know, like if I'm going to a restaurant, that's a
What are you
different
talking
story.
about? They walk up to your hole, they stick it.
They put it in.
They put it
They
in.
fill you
Fill
up.
it up.
You're nasty. Yeah.
Give me 20.
And all you got to do afterwards is go.
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 Not even
Bye.
thank you.
Bye, Felicia. No, that's interesting. Interesting.
The way shit happens. So yeah, that's all I did this weekend.
Yeah.
That and make soup.
Yeah, we went off the rails on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always make soup.
Yeah.
And you
I'm
get
a-
creative with your soups
Yeah,
too.
I love making different stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
gotta-
He's the one non-traditional Puerto Rican that I know in my life. So this is the only Puerto Rican that I know that literally incorporates.
I'm a pretty non-traditional Puerto Rican.
Actually, yeah.
by injection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think you've ever been injected by a Puerto Rican, but by association, I would say.
Probably.
I don't know. I live in New Haven, so probably have.
She's got
I
to
think
check her
that's
past.
something that you would know, Trish.
Not necessarily.
How so?
She's worked at a
Just-
bar for a
just be-
while, though.
just because somebody is tan doesn't necessarily mean that they're Puerto Rican.
And just
I can make an assumption about anybody's ethnicity, but it could be completely wrong.
true, but you would know. I mean,
Yeah, they can.
there's a
When you're
there's a
enthralled,
Guate-
there's always gonna be that
Yeah.
papi or that.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a Guatemalaness
Yeah.
that comes along with.
I don't think I've
It was-
ever been with a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
It was like I was watching this video the other day. Hey, who would have thought, right? And,
a video.
a video the other day, and
How original.
and the guy says that the girls handed him a shit, and it says, "I was having sex with this white boy the other day, and after we were finished, he was asking me, who's ay coño?
I call you.
Ay coño,
Wait, who is Iconia?
ay coño."
That's just her saying,
like
like,
when-
ow,
Oh,
ooh,
fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck, yeah. Like,
And so she kept saying
she
that.
was enjoying it so much, she kept saying, ay coño. And he was like, who's ay coño?
That's hilarious.
So you would know if you were having sex with a Spanish
Yeah.
guy.
Luckily,
That
Siri
Spanish word
translates now. I'm just gonna put the translator on. Oh, okay. Got
Translate in Puerto Rican
Yeah.
because it's a completely different
Yeah,
dialect.
that's true, too.
You know, I
Sex dialect.
no, the whole thing, the whole
there's-
Puerto Rican language is just something.
There's no Spanish language that are alike, period. And New York Puerto Ricans and island Puerto Ricans have a complete different dialect.
yeah, but
So New Yorkers are New Yorkers.
right. But I will tell you that even the Puerto Rican from the island, the language, the slang, the terms that they
Yeah.
use, they're endemic to the
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
They're endemic to that culture.
That's a big word, Tom.
Yes,
Yeah,
meaning
she-
it's unique.
She studied today.
It's unique.
Wow.
You can go to anywhere in South America, Central America, any of the other.
Well, I mean,
you
it's
know,
like that in all cultures, really.
Yeah.
plethora of Spanish-speaking countries, and you would say a word that they know, but
I equate this to like English in England, in the different areas of England.
Yes.
You'll go somewhere and someone will be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you will be English speaking from England.
Yes.
so let me phrase it this. Let me put it this way. Maybe this will help you understand.
I understand.
Or wrap your head around what I'm saying. It's
it's already wrapped.
It's
I
even
get it.
different than that. Just try to understand Bad Bunny.
No.
It is absolutely unique. It is endemic. The man is singular, right? That's how singular the Spanish on the island is. Where we have, so
Is that
we've-
why you're a white Puerto Rican when you're there?
pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like I speak Spanish there, and I'm like, "Mire este que vino aquí,
He's real
bien
proper.
propio."
She's real proper.
Yeah, no, it's it is weird. It's a weird thing, and then the words, and so I found out, like, for example, that we have incorporated a lot of native Taino words
Yes.
into our dialect, which is also very endemic in itself or unique. But like,
But there are words that are used internationally that are Taino words that people don't realize.
right,
Like the word huracán
Right.
is a Taino word, and so is barbacoa.
right, barbecue.
So everybody uses that barbecue, but it's a Taino
Yeah.
word.
So like, for example,
Useless facts I remember.
it's so weird. It's so weird. But there's this one woman that I watch on the interwebs all the time, and she talks about the many different words that are
Yes.
very unique, and I'm fascinated by
know
her,
what
and I
you're
watch
talking
her
about.
all the time. She's so cool. But yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. So, if you had been with a Puerto Rican, that was the moral of the story.
Yeah,
You
you
would
would
have
have known.
You would have walked up in here like.
Oh yeah, papi. No.
Yeah. Dila TT, VIP. No, you would have walked up in here playing Bad Bunny like mad loud.
See the
plate
lecture you got
shattering.
just for saying you didn't know?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the truth.
It's a lot.
It's the truth.
I'm
All
gonna-
right, so
I'm just gonna go get a spray tan and call it a day.
yeah, that works. I support that endeavor. So we have two options. We can keep going, take a break.
We haven't taken a break in a while.
All right, so we can do that. So we will do that. We will take a break. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gents, we are back from the break. Thank you so much for allowing us to take that break. We haven't taken one in quite a long time. And we're back, and we've got some stuff to discuss. So I'll start off. Anybody want to kick it off?
Sure.
What do you got, Mr. J. Bird?
So
Oh,
apparently,
he's excited. Look at him.
No,
He's got a story.
Oh,
He's
man, I
prepared.
got a story. That's out of the norm, isn't it?
Look at him. He's glowing. He's like a compass near north.
I wish.
Look at that sexy motherfucker behind him, though.
Oh,
Oh, my God.
She is on the market, everybody.
she's in the perfect spot.
You can
Casting
order her on
couch.
Amazon too, believe me. Delivery in one day.
Delivery in one
Maybe
day.
less.
Oh, my God. Evil.
So apparently,
over a little bit.
yeah, CNN reported
There
that
you go. Look at that.
the Dump administration is considering eliminating the 988 suicide prevention and crisis lifeline services for LGBTQ plus youth.
Why doesn't that surprise me, though?
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You know, so a lot of people don't realize how important, you know, and we've talked about this many a
Many
times
times, yeah.
on the show.
Yeah, we had Maureen on this year.
We did, you know, and we talked about, for example, 988, right?
Correct.
That's just like 911, 988.
Yeah, they went down from a 10-digit number to 3 digits to make it easier.
right.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me that this administration, given the platform and the stance that it has taken specifically against our trans people and our community, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and in a turn, and then I guess, kind of a slap in the face type of thing, right? Canada turns around.
I love fucking Canada.
And they've provided their services and have actually provided a phone number for U.S. citizens that may still need those services in case this actually comes to fruition. they're stating it may occur sometime around October when they pass some new legislation or bills. So,
Right.
um,
But what
big ups to
concerns me,
Canada.
yeah,
Big ups
they
to
do.
Canada for always looking out.
They always come through, you
Yeah.
know, and it's and you know that a country's got their shit together when you find time and time after time and time and again after tariffs are imposed on said country, the idiot in chief that we have keeps rescinding them,
Yeah, because he's a dumbass.
right? And he knows, you
Like
know,
I said, he's just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks.
and it all backfires
Yeah.
left and right, you know, and this is not the first, you know, thing that, you know, he's attacked. Like, for example, we know that World Pride, I believe, is coming to DC
Yes.
this summer. So the Trump-controlled Kennedy Center's panel, or what
Board.
the board canceled all World Pride events that were scheduled to take place at the Kennedy Center.
Well, you know what happened with the board there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, they got taken out, and you know,
Yeah, they ousted everybody, and Trump took over and
Right.
put his own people in there.
Very
Which is scary.
Hitlerish of him, isn't
right?
it?
It's very scary, you know. And I don't know, you know, if you've been living under a rock, you would have to, if you don't know that the Pope passed away. I am not a religious person.
Hold on, we're not done with the suicide hotline thing.
Okay, well, I was just going to make a point, but go.
Oh, okay, now you make your point.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, the Pope passed, and you know, you have leaders from all over the world, and this little bitch throws a tantrum because he's not sitting in the front row
And falls asleep.
and wants to sit in the front row and start snoozing the fuck off. And here's Melania, like, the video, you cannot. This is what we have.
Well, you know,
leading our world.
Yeah, they kept calling Joe Sleepy Joe because he snoozed here and there as
Right.
well.
And here's
And
this
it
one.
comes with that age. I think, you know, you're in your 80s,
Yeah.
and especially with the type of schedules you keep, I understand that. But, you know, it was a big topic amongst Republicans about how Joe kept snoozing off.
Right.
You
Sleepy
haven't
Joe.
heard a fucking beep from them, have you?
Not
Dude.
one.
It's called a micro nap.
Yeah.
Those aren't micro naps.
Mm.
I know micro naps.
Yeah.
It only happens when I'm reading. But anyway, so back to the
I'm
hotline.
surprised you
Yeah.
haven't taken one when you're like, you know, reading the closing comments.
You know, it's coming one of these days.
Yeah, yep.
It's just gonna be
20
like
years from now, episode 795. I'm going to be like,
be like, Tommy, you have your cane.
yeah, no.
Yeah, so apparently, yeah, it was a leaked budget draft, which enacted 988 suicide and crisis life, the crisis life. Oh, I'm already speaking in
Cursive.
aren't I?
Words are challenging. We
Crisis
get it.
Lifeline LGBTQ plus youth specialized services could defund beginning in October. According to the nonprofit The Trevor Project, the suicide prevention organization for LGBTQ plus
You got this, girl. It
Youth.
took me a while. I had a card in front of.
that has been subcontractor for the specialized services since 2022. So
My main question here is why? So suicide doesn't just affect the LGBTQ plus community, right?
Correct.
It doesn't.
Right.
However, there is when you look at percentage wise, how many LGBTQ plus people versus how many straight people,
Yeah.
the percentage of LGBTQ plus people that commit suicide way higher.
Absolutely.
Okay. So why is it that they're trying to eliminate the LGBTQ youth hotline for suicide? Because they really are. This is like literally a huge statement.
Yeah.
They're making a point that they don't give a fuck
well,
about
I mean,
our community.
yeah,
That they
not-
want
yeah.
us to get rid of ourselves.
Absolutely,
Right.
and not only that, but you know, those services are used by a lot of military men as well. So you have a lot of
And
you know
women,
veterans,
probably.
yeah, men and women. Yeah, I should say men and women.
Humans.
Yeah,
Because, you know,
that use the services
Right.
as a result, and as of mid-March, more than 14.5 million people have called or texted or sent chats to 988 Lifeline.
Right.
So you have to see what an impact it's gonna have, and I don't think it's just the LGBTQ popularity,
Right.
population. Excuse me. you know, it's you can see where they're headed, and I think, like you said, not only they're looking for us to kind of quote unquote eliminate their issues for them on our own. It's across the board. It's affecting more than just the LGBTQ plus population,
especially right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They've cut so much funding, not only
in education,
and veteran affairs, and assistance.
Sciences.
They've cut services in almost all the, well, not almost all the VAs have had doctors and social services cut drastically.
We had a group of Howard students. So Howard is
Howard University.
Yep. Which, for our listeners, if you don't know, it's a predominantly black college.
Yes.
And they had cut funding to Howard.
Right.
And we had a group of students that were coming, art students that were coming to the Schubert. And they were coming here for a long weekend to do a tour of like the arts in New Haven. And we had everything planned. There were all these like different things each day. There was a panel with our staff. There was a panel with some Yale staff. Anyway, moving on. But the funding was cut and they couldn't come.
That is insane. And it's horrible that this is what we as a community have to live with, because it's not that they're trying to do it, under the rug. They're not trying to sweep some of this stuff. They are blatantly going out there and doing this. They are blatantly attacking subgroups of our community to the point where it is flat out just racism and, them being derogatory in your face. They don't care. You're seeing senators, you're seeing members of Congress.
That's because they don't understand what EDI actually means, how it serves people. They don't understand that it's not an attack against white people. That's what they think it is. They think it's an attack against them, when in all reality, it's about providing visibility, opportunity, and access. And that it's not about hiring somebody because they're black versus because they're white. It's about giving the person of color an opportunity to actually have an interview.
Right. And have equity. Be equitable in the workforce and to have that same visibility that, white people have always had throughout their lives. And the scary part is that, when they start doing this and you see these groups that are being affected come out, and then the white people just sit back and let it happen. It's really, really crazy, because you have seen in the past when DEI was a big thing, the first people to jump on board with DEI were white people. We have something to prove. We have something we have a statement to make, right? This corporation needs to support DEI because we need to jump on a bandwagon. And then all of a sudden this man gets elected again, and it's like, boof, out the door. And so when you see institutions like some of the Ivy League institutions that are now pushing back and saying, no, fuck you, we're going
Except
to.
for, I think it was Columbia that caved.
Oh no, there's a lot of major institutions, the Ivy Leagues that.
No, I know, but I think Columbia
caved. Was one of the first ones,
that caved,
and then they caved.
Yeah. But to see them pushing back, it's impressive, because
they're like, bitch, I've got a huge ass endowment. I don't need your money. I will be fine for the next 4 years. We will figure it the fuck out.
Right. And that's a scary part. But going back,
there are a lot of organizations that can't say that.
Exactly. And that is detrimental to those organizations and the
universities
and the communities they support. But going back to 988 and the importance of a service like this. So let's say, okay, October rolls around, and all of a sudden now we find ourselves where budget cuts are now hindering someone's opportunity to be able to call something as life-saving as this and save their own lives. And let's say Canada jumps in and wants to support American citizens.
Absolutely.
Okay. If the individual on the other end of that line says, okay, this person is in immediate danger and has to call 911 or has to call emergency services to have someone do, like, let's say, a wellness check. I'm really concerned about this person that called. The call dropped. I really don't know what's going on. how does Canada's system tie in with the U.S. system to allow them to really pinpoint and target and send help where help is needed?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
what I
It's scary.
It's scary. It's scary, and you got to look at it. According to the document, the budget does not include funding for the LGB Center of Excellence, the African American Behavioral Health Center of Excellence, the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Behavioral Health Center of Excellence, the Hispanic Latino Behavioral Health Center of Excellence, and the LGBTQ Youth Family Support Program. So they're targeting all minority programs.
And they're all associated. Well,
Yeah,
in most cases,
I'm sure they're funding some neo-Nazi party somewhere for some bullshit.
when you really think about it, every single one of those groups that you mentioned is a resource group that we have in our own employment.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It is specifically targeting DE and I. And
Absolutely.
it hurts and it's sad because, you just don't know. While Canada has good intentions, how do they provide emergency support if they need to across the border?
what they should do, if they're really invested in this, is partner with U.S. nonprofits and U.S. Organizations that are doing the work, that are helping the kids,
That are helping the
The
children.
Trevor
Yeah.
Project, having that resource, having a phone line, talking to the people at those nonprofits. Okay, what's a local resource near you? How do I get a local resource to somebody in Minnesota? So on and so forth, and start really having those deep conversations.
Right.
And I
They're
think,
going to
I
need
think,
to.
and I think a big plus in this situation is the internet. Unfortunately,
You know what's
what I
fucking
mean?
crazy to me? You know what's fucking nuts? This whole thing about transgender people and drag queens and protecting children's and banned books, and you want to protect the youth and protect kids constantly. That you lean on it. You lean on that in the fucking Bible constantly. But you want to get rid of a suicide hotline for youth.
Right. And you want to cut education. Dismantle the department, the federal Department of Education that provides funding for children who are disabled, that provides
Special needs,
rules and regulations on how public schools must be equal.
So let me ask all of the Trump voters out there: do they really want to help the U.S. youth? No.
No, they want to help those billionaires who are looking for tax cuts.
They want to eradicate the LGBTQ plus community. They want to eradicate anything that is historical or anything that would teach your children how oligarchy happens or how Nazi Germany happened. They want to ban books that have anything to do with equality, inclusion, and somebody that's not necessarily the same as you. They literally want to whitewash everything,
every single thing. And it all started, if we really start analyzing a lot of the conversations that we had, it all started in states, right? Florida was at the forefront of that push. They're the ones that started banning books. They're the ones that started banning DE and I. They're the ones that started saying, history didn't happen this way. They're the ones that started asking their universities to stop teaching critical race theory, to stop, providing courses that taught, extensive Black history and, the history with America and slavery. Right.
And outing students to their parents.
Yes.
And
and
look
and
at all the bullshit that
that's
they
how it started.
Set precedents for. And I think, I think the administration is looking at that and using Florida as their forefront.
Right.
their blueprint.
As their blueprint as to, okay, if this applied here, we can do it everywhere else.
Right.
And I think it's, it not only is it asinine, but you have to look at these senators and governors that are in play that come from parents that are also immigrants.
Right.
And I saw an interview recently, Rubio. His parents are Cuban immigrants.
Yeah.
And he's fighting against immigrants himself.
Right.
How the fuck do you justify being one of those leaders trying to persecute and send immigrants back home when your own family got here through these same processes that have afforded you not only a life in the U.S., but an education and the opportunity to run for government.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now you're turning around and say anybody that comes in behind me can't fucking do the same thing because
But you know why?
They're immigrants.
But you know why? Because he's the right kind of colored Cuban, right?
True.
And so when you think about, the exodus from Cuba back in, when Fidel Castro took control and, made Cuba what it is today or what it has been historically.
I don't necessarily think that's right. Yeah, he might be the right colored Cuban, but that doesn't mean that because he's the right colored Cuban, he should be advocating for the people that
would make me the right colored Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
but it's true though. But it's true. You have to take that into account.
No, where he got was because of that.
Yeah,
yes.
because of that.
But
yes.
but the fact that he's there, knowing where he came from, and is now advocating to close the gate for anyone coming behind him,
right?
That is fucked up, and that's not because of the fact that he's a lighter color Cuban.
Oh, that's exactly why it is.
The reason it is because, well, yes, it might be an underlying reason,
right.
But he got to where he was because he's there because of that, and he doesn't want to lose that status.
Yeah.
It's about ego. It's about power.
Absolutely.
It's all about power, right? But, historically, on the island of Cuba, when you think about, the makeup
Afro-Cubans, Afro-Puerto Ricans is the same thing no matter where you go in the islands. Santo Domingo is a huge and a great example of that because you don't only have Dominican Republic, but you have Haiti attached to it. And the Haitian population is so mistreated. And it's all, it's insane. And it all comes down to skin fucking color.
Mm-hmm.
There were
there's even racism within
of course,
there's always.
No, but I will tell you.
Yeah, even Italy, you have your light skinned Italians, and then if you go to Sicily, they're darker and they're treated differently.
Yeah.
No matter where you go in the world, you always have that demeanor. But you always have that mindset.
I mean, from my perspective, and we all know I'm pasty, right?
Oh,
we can see it today.
I shine.
You were like Edward Cullen glistening.
But
in
I
the
like
sun
me
today.
a dark man.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying.
A little brown sugar is always good for you.
Hello.
But when we talk about what's happening in today's society, in today's world, right? You're talking about people who had an opportunity, who came here, immigrants, right? The color of their skin had a lot to do with how successful they became in the US of A. And so if you start looking at the demographics of people that are being sent back, you can't just look at what their nationality is. Pay attention to what their color is because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean the focus definitely is
look at it like this. Even here in the U.S., Native Americans and Mexicans, okay, they're stopping Native Americans and trying to ID them. Why? They keep confusing them for Mexico. They're all from the same region.
Right.
They're all from the same region, so they're confusing Native Americans and Mexicans and trying to deport Native Americans to Mexico.
They deported a child.
I saw that, yeah.
A child, a U.S. citizen.
That's not based on
2 years old. Yeah.
That's not based on nationality. That's all based on fucking skin color, right
Yeah,
there.
I know.
No, but when you think of when you see the Marco Rubios and you see the what's the other one, Cruz?
Yeah,
God,
Ted.
The Ted Cruzes. These are all Cuban American immigrants. It's all about the color of their skin. That's why they became that successful.
They think they're doing a greatness and they're hurting their own people in the process.
And they do that because the racism is real. And there's no more. I will tell you this, and I've had conversations.
I'm not disagreeing with either of you. I agree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is that it blows my mind that whether they're a light-skinned whatever, knowing where they came from. Even though racism, yes, is real, they have probably family members in Cuba. They have family members in these different countries.
They will throw them under the bus in a heartbeat.
Literally, because of the rhetoric, because they're afraid of Trump.
They've bought into the propaganda.
Let's not confuse what's going on with fear. They're not afraid of Trump.
Oh, people are afraid of Trump.
They agree with Trump, and I'm going to demonstrate why.
No, I mean, I would even say the Democrats are afraid of Trump.
Oh, I wouldn't They
I
should
think
be.
Republicans are also afraid of Trump.
We should
and
be.
defying Trump.
We should be.
Man,
He's a
If
lunatic.
Marco Rubio was actually a fucking good human and stood up and said something,
But he's not.
right?
He'd be deported in a month.
He'd be deported. Yeah, but
In a
if
month.
if he was, or if there was another good Republican that stood up and said something against Trump,
Right.
you think he would have a job?
No, he would literally get primaried in a heartbeat. But I'll give you an example. So there was a conscious effort in the Dominican Republic to whiten the race.
Yes. Even Elsie. Elsie has talked about it.
Yeah.
Where the family is like, oh, you have to straighten your hair out. You don't go out in the sun. Don't get darker. It happens. It's very, very common. And I'm probably one of the lightest ones in my family.
Oh, she's white.
I'm white. I have nephews that are darker than our guest here. You know what I mean?
And she's not even that dark. She's
She
just
ain't
pretty.
even that dark. So and you see it. You see it all the time.
Yeah,
you
it's-
see it
it's
all the
insane.
time. I could tell you for a fact, if we were together, he and we got pulled over, I have a better chance of getting out of an issue than he does just because of skin color.
And
Maybe not the two of you.
And if you need
But
any
it's-
more
it's
evidence
very
of
common.
that,
It's
look
very
at what
common.
happened, 10, 15 years ago. Look at what
Yeah.
happened in East Haven.
Yeah.
The racial profiling in East Haven was
Insane.
insane.
I know I was being pulled over all the time.
For what? For sucking dick on the corner of like fucking
just being a
Hemingway?
dick.
Because
I'm
of the
just thinking-
passengers on her passenger seat.
No,
That's
The people on her passenger seat were too dark.
no, it's incredibly.
The white boy's being
alarming.
abducted. He was carjacked.
Yeah, it's incredibly
Why are
alarming.
you in the driver's seat?
Yeah.
It's incredibly alarming, and all I can say is, you've got Snoozy Don sleeping through half of all of this while he's got his minions out there doing his dirty work, and I hope we have no choice. We survive this as a nation. This is going to be very catastrophic. There's no doubt, mark my words, we still have 3.5 years to go, that this man will attempt to circumvent the Constitution and run for a third term. And we're not done, because even, let's say, for example, we successfully avert that from happening, right? We have another election. Trump is out of office. He's gone. He can never run again. Let's say we close the chapter on that book. The
Damage.
amount of damage that he has done to our institutions
Already in the first 100 days.
even in his first 4 years, in his first term, the amount of damage that he has done to the political norms that we grew up knowing is so vast and so extensive that it'll take us decades to recover and get back to a point of this is what politics should be. This is how.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a dedicated Trumper this weekend, actually. You can
Yeah,
imagine.
okay.
You
Yeah.
can imagine. But
How many times did you pop off?
I didn't honestly. It was a very informative session.
Good for you.
Very informative.
Very
Good
proud of
for
you.
I was
I'm
talking
glad.
about. I talked a lot about like some of the departments that have been defunded and how that's affecting certain things, and I also talked about congressional district funds which help infrastructure around the country in all states, and because no budget was passed, nobody that was awarded funds got any money. I talked about all of this stuff that had to do with money, and the only response I got back was, well, maybe they were spending too much. I was like, no, that's not the case at all. Like, if we were spending too much, then there would be other places where we could take from instead of cutting certain things that are supporting individuals. And I said, one of the things that they're cutting is really going to affect one of our family members. Oh, I just gave myself away.
No, but hey, no.
Because
Yeah.
that institution, the majority of their money goes to help kids with disabilities.
Right.
And how is that going to affect?
Family going forward.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just silence.
Right.
No response.
And the sad thing is that, they were sold peaches and creams, and they got a moldy petri dish.
Yeah. Well, and then I brought up at one point I brought up the NEA, so National Endowment for the Arts, which is specifically for the arts.
Right.
And the response was, well, maybe they were giving too much money to other organizations, to different organizations. I was like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it fucking works. Like, there is an allotment of money for grant. You apply and you get what you need.
Right.
If you're awarded the money. That's not how it works. Everything is gone. It goes through such an intense process of review with a board and with the organization before anything is awarded. Right. Like, and if you take away a certain amount of money from a certain organization, that could be their lifeline.
Right.
Like these organizations are crumbling because funding is being cut willy-nilly. Like, we don't need to spend that money.
Yeah, on the other spectrum, you know, I did case management for many years in New Haven. Ryan White, the Ryan White Foundation or the Ryan White funding is all state and federally funded. So cutting HIV programs, this is what it's affecting. It's affecting case management for individuals in need of health care, of medical care. You know, all this funding that comes down. Not only does it pay for their services, pays for the individuals to help them provide, get them those services. Yeah, you know, not just medical assistance, substance abuse systems, housing.
And to go back to your granddaughter with the diesel in the truck. a lot of these kids and these youth, I'm being honest. Like, but to be honest, like they just don't know where to go.
Exactly.
I could need something and I don't have the resources to get it. Right, I don't know how to go about getting it, and why I say the diesel thing is because
where do I go to find out how fucked up am I going to be when I get home and tell my grandpa that I put diesel in his unleaded truck?
Well, and like some of they just don't have the education to know
better. Yeah,
is there a three-digit number I can like
dial
right
and
now?
fix this? Yeah, but no, it's
I would love
they're cutting funding that helps a lot of individuals, substance abuse, mental health, special ed education. Look at it, veteran assistance, sex addiction for Tom. That takes $2.5 million a month.
That hasn't been cut yet.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
No, but it's a lot of stuff that minorities are in dire need of. Yeah. And why are we in dire need of that? Because that's the way we are kept down. And the minute you split up and you start getting people to fight each other, blacks against the browns and the Asians and this and that and the other, it's when you get that discourse between everybody, because now you're blaming him because you lost these benefits while the 1% is getting the tax cuts and all the breaks. Right. Elon Musk is getting paid what, $8 million?
Yeah,
I think it's a lot more than $8 million
to run Doge.
Yeah. Oh, he's out the door now.
Oh, and like how
plus
much
the
money?
funding to his programs. Come on.
Right. And then on top of that, when they did the whole fucking
you're
tariffs
saying
and they made all that money.
And you're telling me that immigrants are taking your jobs. You can't get 15 fucking people to do the job of one fucking Mexican in a fucking field right now.
No. But here's what they're trying to do. Let's reduce the legal age.
The legal age of working so we can send our teenagers to pick fucking berries and fucking oranges. Yeah.
Children.
Kids.
You know, and it's like
child labor laws.
You still have Snoozy Don, Sleepy Don over here. Like he's still like trying to get the Supreme Court to overturn the court's ban on transmilitary to reinstate the transmilitary ban. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a clear attack, and the people that are suffering the most are all minorities.
Absolutely,
straight across the board.
That's all.
And
because remember, if the minorities band together,
we're the majority.
We're the majority, and that will put them in a hell of a bind. And as long as they continue to keep everybody separated and fighting each other, they have the upper hand. And they've done it so far.
What's crazy is the fact that if you look at the voting records from this last election, the amount of minority individuals that voted for him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I hope those individuals are opening their eyes, right?
Well,
I hope so.
a lot of the Latino or the Hispanic vote were Cuban Americans. The majority of them, which is a large population.
There was a pretty big portion of African
American males that thought that he was going in the right direction until he
I
started
met one this
cutting funding.
weekend.
Yeah,
Fucking Walmart.
Right.
but
Fucking Walmart.
you know it
Fuck them
is what it.
bitches.
And we have individuals we know personally that whose parent, again, individuals that are not only Latino and African American, right? They're also gay, and their parents voted for fucking Trump.
Yeah.
So you know you got to look at it, and everything they fucking do is affecting the entire fucking family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so
Anyway.
it's a slap in the face.
Now the scary part is that all of this is driven by white America's fragility.
Yeah,
Their it is their egos are like they're panicking right now because they know that if the minority were to not be segregated, as Jay said, and stood together, we would be a majority. And they are literally thinking, over my dead body, are you going to take over this country? This is white America. This is what this whole push has always been. This is
Yeah.
what Trump has always.
That's why he got all these people behind him.
yeah,
Of course,
absolutely.
of course. That's why the MAGA movement is so prolific. That's why it's very polarizing, because it is using tactics that have worked in history, right? To take a subgroup of people and make them feel less than, make them feel disconnected, make them feel
To scapegoat.
unimportant, or let's use these individuals as a scapegoat. Let's get them fighting each other so
Well,
that they
let's
can let us do.
Let's get everybody behind us to scapegoat them, so that when I actually,
Go in and do what I need to do. Everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck," you know? And then they're gonna have.
well, no, they're going to be behind.
They're gonna be
you.
happy.
Right.
Oh, you exiled them, excellent, and
Right.
then they don't realize shit. We're gonna fucking lose X, Y, and Z because this exile happened.
You know, it's
And that's
it's
basically what's happening.
it's
and
intense.
yes, I understand there are individuals in the U.S. that are in here illegally that are not supposed to be here and are ex-gang members, but you have to also take into account that people change and people have checkered pasts,
Right.
right?
Or people don't have a past
and
at all.
people don't have a past at all. And if you want to make a change, you remove yourself from people, places, and things that bring you back to those habits.
Right.
You know, and there may be a history with some individuals that are now trying to better themselves. And bettering yourself sometimes means leaving your own country.
Yeah. I think, like right now in the midst of all these deportations and all of this craziness that's happening in the Supreme Court and lower courts, ordering people to be returned back from El Salvador to the U.S., what remains to be seen is how this administration is going to tackle DACA,
Yeah.
right? In the midst of all of this, they could turn around and say, well, I'm signing an executive order. Every DACA recipient, which, by the way, they're registered. They know where these people are. We're picking them all up and sending them out.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends that, are afforded the ability to be here because of programs like DACA. And I think that is going to be the next shocker that's coming down the line. And I wouldn't put it past this administration if it takes less than probably 2 months for it to start becoming an issue.
Yeah.
So, for all of you out there.
He's going down the line. He's going down the line. Every issue that comes up, he's check. Let's try this next.
So, just have your paperwork in order. Make sure that you have a plan and figure it out. Build a bunker, hide, do whatever you got to do.
Also know your rights.
Of course.
Know your rights, but they don't give a fuck about people's rights. Come on,
but it helps. Like, it definitely helps if they, if ICE shows up and they don't have a court order signed by a judge, they are not allowed in your house. They are not allowed in your business. Can they force themselves in? Sure, but if you know your rights, that's your first defense.
Yeah,
right. Well, true. Yes, facts. Right. We know that this is something that we've been seeing, spread through a lot of different agencies are highly talking about this. I was recently in the hospital with my mother. for her latest treatment, for chemo. And there's a big signs now showing up all over the hospital that are saying, know your rights, ICE and their ability to come into certain buildings, blah, 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 blah. It's all over the place. And I think that, in states like ours, for example, we're seeing efforts by agencies and we're seeing efforts by institutions to inform their citizens of their rights. I can't say that the same is happening in red states.
Correct.
No, probably not. No,
Right.
Absolutely not. It's not even a problem.
But if you're in a red state, go to your local
Get
library.
informed, yeah.
Get
Right.
informed.
Get informed.
And like there are no matter what red state you're in, there are blue contingencies. There are people that are trying to do the work
Right.
on the ground. They may be a
Correct.
small group,
Right.
but they're trying to do the work on the ground. So there are ways to get information no matter where you are.
Right.
But you just have to be diligent and look for it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you have,
In Connecticut, they're throwing it in your face, which is great, and I
Yeah,
love that. It
yeah.
should be everywhere. But
Right.
where it's not being thrown in your face, find it.
yeah, if you have a phone, you have a weapon in your hand.
Yeah.
It's called information.
Mm-hmm.
Google it.
And if you can't find it, call an Oregon a blue state.
Yeah.
Call whatever you need, whatever you're looking for. Call an Oregon a blue state. Be like, I need help in blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Call an agency in California.
They're good to. They'll be willing to look up.
Yeah,
and-
they have
and they might have
partnerships throughout the
partnerships across.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So you're not alone. It's just sometimes it takes. Yeah, it takes a little legwork, unfortunately. Oh boy.
Always in my heart. No, anyway. All right.
Moving on.
Wrapping this shit up.
A
bitches.
Wonderful, wonderful
I took
conversation.
off your entire day today.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
look at you.
It's
Look
the
at
J
you
show.
graduated.
She's officially graduated.
Yeah. Bye Talk 2.0. No.
Oh,
It's the Bible.
The Bible.
I cannot with him. Okay. Well, we are going to go bring this home. So I'm going to go ahead and give Trish some love because it is your turn. You ready, girl?
Never.
No.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's minute. Number 1, J.K. Rowling just showed why supporting Harry Potter is harmful to trans people. Number 2, Pedro Pascal slams J.K. Rowling's celebration of trans ruling.
Yes.
Heinous loser behavior.
Good.
Number 3, The Last of Us star Bella Ramsey reveals they quit social media after cruel Ellie game comparison.
Yeah, she's been getting a lot of backlash.
People
For
are
playing a
haters.
character.
Yeah, for playing a character, but it is what it is. Fuck yeah.
It's the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
Jaybird, over to you.
It's a character. It's not real, fuckers.
Oh, God, you sound like...
Yeah, sometimes you need to. All right, on this day in
like a
gay
Trumper.
history, where the People's Republic of China, the year 2002, what occurred? Let's see. Homosexuality is decriminalized in the People's Republic of China as the newly amended marriage law avoids this topic.
So the People's Republic of China,
Yep.
I believe that's
China.
no, because there's we still have this autonomous region of what China thinks belongs to them, right? That used to be under British control and then was given back, and they're trying to fight for their independence and maintaining democracy while China's trying to assimilate them.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's the People's Republic of China that is that small demographic called Taiwan, or if that's China and they're called something else.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because if they're saying homosexuality is decriminalized, I'm thinking this is the smaller autonomous region that China is now trying to force dictatorship upon the region.
So the Republic of China is
It's a
Taiwan is
country in
officially
East Asia?
the Republic of China,
Okay.
which is East Asia. The main island of Taiwan, also known as Formosa, lies between East and South China Seas, northwestern Pacific Ocean, with the People's Republic of China (PRC) to the northwest, Japan to the northeast, and the Philippines to the south. So that's where it reaches to.
Yeah, but I know that there's a difference between these two groups because it's
So Taiwan is technically China, or technically a part of China. No,
Yeah.
technically the Republic of China. But the People's Republic of China is everything else.
It's right. So the People's Republic of China is
No.
China as
Not China without Taiwan.
without Taiwan, right? And so they decriminalized.
Correct.
Because it wasn't actually built into the marriage law that was passed.
Ah, okay.
Correct.
So and
So you
then
can get married, but it's still illegal to be gay.
Yeah.
welcome to
Until
our
2002.
interesting. Okay.
Alrighty. I guess we're moving on.
Yes, please.
All right. If you love the show, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, the listeners, can help to support the can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
Trisha.
Alrighty then.
Thank you. All right, this is specifically for our special silent guest today. Just you're going to need this information for the future. Get the Future Method and all other products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum. You can take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs. Increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit, and get all the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessories today.
S Queen. J Bird.
Alrighty then. Time to put a ring on it. You guys are horrible. Our show is available on our website, GayTalk20.com, under audio podcast. It is also available as a... Excuse me. You guys
We're
are
falling
back.
apart.
Yeah, it is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and Stitcher Radio. Nick?
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at GayTalk2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, it's your turn.
I'll try not to fuck it up. All right, ladies and gents, if you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab, which is located right at the top of that web browser. There you can leave comments, you can suggest topics, you can submit a question for the cast or an individual host, and you can also call us and leave us any questions you may have on our voicemail. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all of those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we do stream live every Wednesday, except today. Today was Monday. And you can access the live stream by becoming a Patreon supporter on the day of recording. Everyone else gets it the week after. Ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you, and y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.